Yo, what's good YouTube, man? It's Gary with Another Fan TV. Back after another video, like the content. This video, go and smash that like button, like the content of this channel. Go ahead and subscribe, man. Look, so the Ravens have made a move that indicates that they're loading up for a Super Bowl run, right? They've signed Dalvin Cook to the practice squad. We're gonna talk about the move, yay or nay. Do I like it? Also, I want to give some quick information about who's going to play or who's not going to play this weekend versus the Steelers, with the Ravens already having locked up the number one seed in the conference. So let's talk about that real quick. So just on the injury report that was released earlier today. So obviously Lamar Jackson, the decision was made that he's not going to play. So other guys that are not going to play this weekend, Odell Beckham is not going to play. Let's see. Malik Harrison, Marlon Humphrey, not going to play. Daryl Worley, Kevin Zeitler, not going to play. All right, so those are just some more guys that have already been ruled out for the Ravens that are not going to play this weekend. Some are injuries, some are coach's decision, like Odell Beckham, Lamar Jackson, Kevin Zeitler, coach's decision. Marlon Humphrey has the calf injury, so it's probably a little bit of both a coach's decision and also, he let him rest up with the injury that he does have. Okay, so we'll know more as more comes out, but those are right now, those are the guys that are not going to play. If I had to guess, you could probably add Kyle Hamilton to that list. He's questionable right now, but there's really no reason for Kyle Hamilton to play this weekend. So more names will be added, but that's the gist of it right now. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the news of the day. Right, the Ravens have signed former Pro Bowl running back, former one of the top guys in the league, Dalvin Cook. Okay, so now let's just give Dalvin Cook's real history real quick. 2017 NFL draft, second round pick, number 41 overall. Played for the Vikings for his entire career up until this season when he played for the Jets earlier this year. Okay, so four-time Pro Bowler Dalvin Cook. And let's just go over what he did the season before season before this one. With the Minnesota Vikings. All right, so let me get the stats right here. So last year he rushed for 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. While receiving, he added another 295 yards through the air, another 2 touchdowns. So we're talking about roughly a 1,400 yard season, 10 touchdowns last year for Dalvin Cook. He goes to the Jets, and obviously it didn't go the same way, right? So now, good signing, yes or no, right? All right, now for me, breaking down the signing for this Ravens team, do I like it? Do I like it? I love the move, right? That's where I land on it, right? Now listen, this is what I have to say about it, right? I think as the game gets more analytical and things like that, running backs get tossed to the side far too often, right? Far too young, right? Dalvin Cook is 28 years old, okay? 28 years old, right? He doesn't turn 29 until August of this year, right? The way that Dalvin Cook was talked about last offseason, the way he was talked about during parts of this season, you would think Dalvin Cook was 32 years old, right? He still has use in his legs. He still has spring in his step, right? When he signed to the Jets this offseason, honestly, to me, the move made no sense, right? The Jets already had Breece Hall. They already had, at the time, they had Michael Carter, who's now, I believe, on the Cardinals. So to me, it was already a crowded backfield, right? I'm not making any excuse for how he plays, stuff like that, but I'm just talking about for me, if I was Dalvin Cook, I wouldn't have gone to that situation, right? If anybody knows anything about the Jets, right, we saw how Breece Hall looked. We know that he was recovering from his injury, and that when he felt like he was really ready to go, the backfield was going to be turned over to Breece Hall. So Dalvin Cook kind of signed up to a losing situation for his own interest, right? I don't really understand why. I mean, I guess, Aaron Rodgers was supposed to play. Obviously, he tears his Achilles the first snap of the season pretty much. So that changes everything. But at the end of the day, Dalvin Cook didn't have a lot to go off on to show that he could still play, right? He was already in a backfield where the number one guy was just on the bench biding the time until he felt healthy, and then he was there to take over, right, which is Breece Hall, right? So during this season, right, when there was all the talks about will the Ravens trade for a running back, right? How would the Ravens approach the trade deadline, right? Now, me personally, I wanted the Ravens to go after Chase Young, guys like that, a defensive lineman that could help add a little bit more to that front seven, right? So that's where I was at, right? But if the Ravens were going to do a running back, right, which a lot of people wanted to trade for the running back, right, Derrick Henry was a popular name, right, and to me, I just wasn't on Derrick Henry like that. Not that Derrick Henry's a bad player or that he's, I'm not calling him washed either as well. But if I have Gus Edwards who can be 70, 75% of what Derrick Henry is, I'm just going to keep Gus Edwards, right? But Dalvin Cook at the time, he does a little bit more, better receiving back, things like that. It would add a little bit more of a different dynamic to the Ravens backfield, right? Now, even more so now with the injury to Keaton Mitchell, to me, it makes sense to bring Dalvin Cook on for this roster for this playoff run, right? I like the way Justice Hill ended the season. Well, not ended the season because he still got one game left, but I like the way Justice Hill played in the last game. I like the way Gus Edwards has been playing this season. Melvin Gordon is your number 3 back. Listen, Melvin Gordon has been on the team pretty much the entire year on the practice squad. I have no problem with Melvin Gordon. If you give me the choice between who I'd rather have as my third running back between Melvin Gordon and Dalvin Cook, I'm taking Dalvin Cook out all day, every day, right? So for me, the Ravens making this move, it makes sense, right? I'm glad that the Ravens were able to get Dalvin Cook. I think that when called upon, if the Ravens do happen to need him, it makes a lot of sense. Also, it's a no risk. It's a no risk signing, right? He's on the practice squad. He's not going to cost Ravens really any money during this transaction, right? So if you're telling me I can get a Pro Bowl level running back, a guy who just had 1,000 yards plus rushing, almost 300 yards receiving last season, and I could put him on my practice squad, I'm going to do that 10 times out of 10, right? So to me, it's a great move by EDC. It's a smart move. And the Ravens are loading up on more Florida guys, right? They call us the Broward County Ravens for a reason. And you add Dalvin Cook as another guy that's going to come in here and add to the team chemistry in the locker room, right? A lot of these guys know him: Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, Tyler Huntley. They all know Dalvin Cook already, right? So a lot of the Florida guys already know him. So I think he'll fit in just fine, seamlessly. That won't be an issue at all for him. But just strictly on the football side of it, like, it makes complete sense for the Ravens to go out there and make this move. Honestly, like I said earlier, if the Ravens would have did this move at the trade deadline, got Dalvin Cook for, I don't know, a 6th-round pick or something like that, because he wouldn't have cost anything. Because at that time he was already benched by the Jets. He wasn't playing. Brees Hall had took over the backfield as expected, so it would have cost the Ravens nothing. Probably a 6th or 7th-round pick if I had to guess, right? But now you get to get Dalvin Cook on your roster with no draft capital used. Even better. I love the move. The Ravens are not going to have to depend on him, so not like he's going to come in, be the Ravens' #1 running back. He's about to get 15 carries, 5 catches. Like, no, he's another guy to throw into the mix to add into this offense, right? If you feel like your running backs that you have currently right now aren't getting going, give Dalvin Cook a shot, right? We know what he can do. To me, this is a 10 out of 10 signing. It makes perfect sense for the Ravens and where they are, what they're trying to do. And I'm a big fan of it. I think it came down between us and the Cowboys. So that's who the Ravens, I believe, beat out to sign Dalvin Cook. So, like I said, to me, top to bottom, this signing makes sense. All right, so that's my opinion on it. I'm a big fan of it. I think Dalvin Cook, if called upon in the right situations, can help the Ravens this year to win playoff games, right? I think he can help if he is called upon to do so. So that's my thoughts. That's my opinion on it, man. Give me your thoughts on it. But Dalvin Cook is now a Baltimore Raven. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on the videos, man. It's Gabriel, just on the Fan TV. I'm out.